And we are officially live and it is showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing, by the way, on this Saturday evening? This is Shawn White here, and I'm just super excited. It's been a very, very great day. And I just want to come on board here and really just have some fun with you guys, right? At the same time, be able to provide some great insight and hopefully that someone gets value out of this particular topic. So once again here to episode 136 of Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. I am your host, Shawn White, founder and creator of Transformation Greatness, which is all about motivating, encouraging, and inspiring the masses. And with that, I've just been able just to create a brand, a movement, a product, and along with the Small Business Network podcast, along with my fellow colleagues, Dr. James McConnell, Chrissy Redding, Roosevelt Russell, Glennis Reed, and many, many others, we have been able to create a movement in which that people love, they resonate with, but more importantly, they're able to get value in a lot of insights. So today, we're going to go ahead and talk about, guys, the benefits of podcasting. And I just truly believe in this day and time, if you're an entrepreneur, listen, if you're not doing a podcast, you're missing the boat, flat out, right? You really, really are. So let's go ahead and have a conversation and dive into that a little bit more. And do me a favor, if you will, guys. If you're catching this on the live, by all means, do me a favor, if you will. Put in hashtag live in the comments. Let me know exactly where you're tuning in from. And let's get some engagement going. If you know me, if you've been following me for quite some time, you know that I love engagement. I love interaction, right? I love dialogue versus a monologue, right? Let's get some engagement going, right? Let's get some energy going. Smash them hearts, smash them hearts. However, if you are preoccupied, if you're doing other things, you know, spending time with the family, relaxing, whatever, and you should happen to catch this on the replay, then by all means, go ahead and put it in hashtag replay and let us know where you're tuning in from and if you're even getting value. So it looks like that there's one person that's actually tuning in, and I appreciate that one person. So let's go ahead and dive in, guys. I did a show earlier with my fellow compadres on the Small Business Network. We did that some hours ago, about 2 p.m. Eastern time. And one of the topics I was talking about was podcasting. And I just mentioned a few of the benefits, and I really didn't want to steal the show because this is something, guys, that you can literally talk about for hours and hours and hours on end out. I'm not going to talk hours and hours and hours. However, let's have a good conversation about this. So, podcasting. First and foremost, I want to be able to dispel the notion between podcasting and actually being on TV, because you have a lot of individuals that may say, oh, okay, well, if you're doing a podcast, then you're doing a TV show, right? Or they'll say, if you're on TV, oh, it's the same thing as being a podcast. And that can be so much farther from the truth. TV is TV, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of work that is involved in that. A lot of stuff that's entailed as far as with TV. Likewise, as far as if you're a radio, right? Or if you're a TV or radio personality, it's a lot that goes into that, right? A lot of practice. There's a lot of other intricacies that go into that. But a podcast is something that's different. A podcast is where you can just turn your camera on, no matter where you're at, and you can just speak, right? It can be scripted or it can be non-scripted. TV and radio is different. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that you will know the audience, right? You have to know their demographics, right? You have to have a pretty clear picture of who you're speaking with. And more importantly, there's a certain science and methods to that. Now, some people may disagree with me. That's totally fine. On this segment here, this podcast, since we're talking about the benefits of podcasting, we can all agree to disagree, right? It is all good. It's a safe space here. But I just want to go ahead and just dispel maybe a couple of misconceptions when it comes to TV or radio and podcasting, and people actually thinking that's the same thing, in which in actuality it isn't. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the benefits of being a podcast. I remember when I started out doing a podcast, and at first it was just a Facebook Live, right? And I would just do, segments, right? Talk about motivation, encouragement, inspiration, things that really inspired me. And I used to do series on that. And by doing this for about 11 years as being an entrepreneur, and I would say as far as being, I guess if you want to say like doing live streams or podcasts, which people still kind of say the same thing, right? I used to just experiment with it, not realizing like, wow, you know what? This is pretty cool. I actually like it. So podcasting is something that right now in this day and time, that it is something that's so super beneficial. And again, I want to echo what I mentioned earlier, because if you're an entrepreneur, the best way to be seen and to be heard and to be recognized is by doing a podcast. Now, there's obviously, you have the video podcast, you have audio, right? You have like so many different apps that's out there, like Spotify, Google Podcasts, right? What's the other ones? If somebody can help me out here. Wisdom, for an example, Clubhouse. I mean, there's so many that's out there. It's just limitless. The point is, though, is that by doing a podcast, it allows for people to get to know, like, and trust you. What I love about video podcasting, because when I started out doing audio, right? I started out as far as on Anchor FM, which now Spotify done took over. But I used to love that because that would give you a great opportunity to just press play, and you can just speak from your heart, and you can just really speak on things in which that you're passionate about. The same way with video, but the beauty about that was that no one's seen you. Until I started saying, like, you know what? Very interesting. I already do live streams, and I like being on camera. I like the interaction and engagement. So let me go ahead and turn this into a podcast. Why not? Why not? And so the benefit to come back to that, especially when you're doing video, it allows for people to be able to interact with you. They're able to pick up as far as on your speech, on your tonality, on your delivery, and it gives people more of the impression that they have something tangible. Now, obviously, physically, they can't be there with you, but at least that way for entertainment purposes, they are able to reach out and touch you. And I want you to think about this if you dispute that. I want you to think about when you're watching something on TV, maybe your favorite TV program or even your favorite movie. And when you're watching the actors doing their thing, right? You feel a sense of connection. There's an emotion, a transfer of emotion that actually exchanges from you onto the screen, onto that actor or actress. Well, likewise, when you're doing a podcast, especially a video podcast, people are able to have that connection interaction. That's number one. Secondly, what I discovered is that one of the benefits of doing a podcast is that it opens up doors and opportunities. Because of me doing the podcast and doing live streams and interviewing people, which, by the way, that's going to be my third point I'm going to get into. But by me interviewing people, I have been able to attract many other types of individuals that see the quality of work, that have something tangible that they can go back to and listen to on a replay, listen to on a replay and be like, wow, you know what? I truly resonate with this individual. I truly resonate on what he said or what she said. And now I want to be able to learn more and discover more about this individual. And so with that, it opens up a lot of different opportunities. For myself, it has allowed me to open up speaking engagements. But what about for you, family? What about as far as that if you was to start podcasting, right, and doing these live streams and label it as a podcast and really take it serious, right? And I mean really take it seriously. Imagine what doors that can open. Imagine what people that can, on a Saturday evening, could be scrolling through Facebook, maybe not, but just seeing the notification, just say, you know what, just out of curiosity, I'm just going to just tune in and see what him or her has, what they have to say. And then from there, something resonates with them. So now they check out your page, they like your page because it's consistent as far as with your message, and that's a strategy, by the way. And then they reach out to you in Messenger and they want to get to know you. And then you get a phone number. And then you get to have a conversation with that individual because it was something that resonated with them. And then who knows? A partnership, a potential client, potential sale. Who knows? Just something to think about. What do you guys think? Drinking on some tea, by the way. Good stuff, good stuff. Another point, too, in which I wanted to mention as far as for the third one, which I kind of hopped on a little bit. Wow, just that fast, I actually forgot. But there's so many tremendous benefits as far as we're doing a podcast. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, it just came back to me. The third benefit is that you get to interview exciting and amazing people, right? So this month, if you guys haven't been following me, I did a post about a week ago in which I want to celebrate Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And within that post, I'm looking for individuals, those that's doing the work in terms of awareness, that has maybe some products, some resources, right? Maybe some nonprofit organizations which that they're a part of, or maybe even that they just want to share their story and their experience, strength of hope, because maybe they have been a victim of domestic violence or may know someone that's been a part of domestic violence. So with that, by you using this platform and doing the podcast, now you can interview people, right? And there's tremendous benefits that's going to happen with that, because they're going to love for the fact that you have given them the opportunity to basically be able to share about themselves, right? And also the work in which that they're doing, or the works in which that they're doing. So now that gets even more exciting, because now you're thinking outside the box. You're not thinking about yourself. You're finding ways to use your platform in order to serve. Is this making sense to anybody? Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, and I get it, we got so much that we have to do. We got so many different projects. We have so many different matrix and numbers and this and that. Trust me, I get it. I get it. But using this podcast to really be able to interview people that you're passionate about the work that they're doing and giving them a platform to share is just a true blessing in itself. A true blessing in itself. And the fourth thing, another benefit, is that you get to talk about things that's going on within your realm. Like for an example, many of you may or may not know that I'm an ambassador with the Sisters Leaders Conference, hosted by Dr. Karen Hills Pruitt, And that is going down October the 27th and the 28th. So just about a few weeks away. And I'm telling you guys, man, you got a list of powerhouse speakers that's going to tear it down and rip it apart. And I encourage you, by all means, go on my page and you're going to find a link to the Sister Leaders Conference and get in the way you fit in. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely amazing. You can either attend, and which is going to be in Virginia Beach, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Or if you cannot, by all means, catch it virtually. But you will definitely get a lot of value. A lot of value, right? And then check this out. I just found out not too long ago with the Powerful on Purpose Summit hosted by Dr. Tabitha Russell herself, right? The powerhouse that she is. She's going to be having that next February 24th of 2024. Guess what? I missed the first one back in August, but best believe by the grace of God, I won't be missing this one because I want an opportunity to share my story. But you get my point. There's a tremendous benefits as far as starting a podcast. And if you're in the listener audience and you're saying, man, Shawn, you know what? Man, I would love to do a podcast, but I just don't know where to start. You know, I'm just maybe fearful of the camera. You know, I don't know what to talk about. I know I got a lot of different things in which I can share, but what do? I need a strategy. Trust me, I've been there, done that, wore the t-shirt and campaign, right? I was one of those individuals that was so super scared and afraid to even look at the camera and be looking all over the place and be super nervous. I get it. Let's have a conversation. Message me. Let's talk. Let's talk. So in closing, guys, the benefits of podcasting. It's so many. I know I done missed some. But I didn't want to overwhelm you guys on this Saturday evening. If one thing I will say is this, and this is something which that I learned when I started out, and no one really showed me the way. I just had to do trial and error. But one thing I will tell you is that if you have a story, if you have a message, if you're passionate about really just be able to share your value and your gifts, doing the podcast is the way to go. And I recommend for you to start 2 weeks ago. I really, really do, which means start now and learn along the way. Trust me, you'll thank me for it. I hope that someone got some insight and really got some value out of this. If this truly resonated with you, and again, guys, if you want to find out more information as far as what I got going on, by all means, please feel free just to reach out to me. There's definitely opportunities in terms of TV and radio, because you know that I'm a TV and radio personality with the Small Business Network. If you're an individual that you're like, man, you know what? I would love as far as to even come on board and even be a guest because I love as far as what you're doing, then let's have a conversation about that. Hey guys, we got things going on as far as with the free news article in which we would love to know more about you and your profession and your business, totally free, right? If that's something that intrigues you as well, let's have a conversation. Got so many great services down the pipeline, but all in all, if it resonates with you, by all means, just please feel free to reach out to a brother. But until then, this wraps up episode 136 on Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network. Again, I am your host, Shawn White here, and I'm going to end this segment like I do all my others. And if what I stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, then may God be the glory, and I'll take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. I thank you so much for your time. And until the next episode, peace and love, family. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.